Oh yeah. Welcome back to another Mystery Truth. I am your only host on this show. Got quite a few things we're going to go over today. A little bit more than yesterday, so it might be a little bit more drawn out. But I got a lot of short ones. I got a lot of long ones. I've got hello Chantel. Good to see you, ma'am. I hope you're doing wonderful on this Tuesday morning. But before we get into some of these news, these topics I'm going to discuss. From DC to Ghislaine Maxwell to gerrymandering to Texas to Pritzker. It's all over the place. But before we do that, we're going to take a trip back to when I was in junior high school. When I was in junior high. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago. But let's take this memory trip while you go get your coffee. You go get your bagels. You go get your oatmeal. I already had oatmeal and honey and a cup of coffee. So, with that being said, get ready for this. And while you're getting ready for this, let me give you a little music to get ready to. All right? I'll see y'all in a couple minutes. Right there. Eat it, YouTube. Oh, when I was streaming the other day, and I had, I think, Happy Gilmore 2 playing in the background on that TV, and fucking YouTube was like, yo, 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 you need to take that shit out. I'm like, it was in the back of the screen. So one of my streams, you got like 30 minutes missing because of that. Hello, Corey. How are you doing? Thank you. So this first one, going to first grade, and then 11th and 12th grade in the state of Alabama, I came across this randomly this morning when I was going down my YouTube feed. Like, let me find some short filler stories. I got a lot of short filler stories. But this one, Alabama, you might actually be on the right side of history.
Alabama's legislative session, there's a measure in the works that would allow for more severe punishment for people found guilty of sexually abusing children.
News 19 shows Bureau Chief Whitney Leibel breaks down the details of what one lawmaker hopes to make law.
Take the innocence of a child that young, you're not rehabilitatable. You're not coming back from that.
Alabama Representative Matt Simpson is pushing for the Child Predator Death Penalty Act to be implemented into the Alabama justice system. He wants to make those found guilty of rape and sodomy of a child eligible for the death penalty. He says the Child Predator Death Penalty Act would make that a reality. Once filed, the bill would also include an option for the offender to face life in prison without parole. Right now, there are 155 on death row, 7 are from the Shoals. Lauderdale County District Attorney Chris Connolly says if the bill is filed, then passed during the 2026 session, prison.
Yo, so if they're a convicted pedophile, right, and there's no doubt about it, and they get put, they're given the death penalty. What if, and because there's really no room for appeal because the evidence is there, your death penalty sentence goes from waiting years on death row to, I hope you have your affairs in order.
Would have to account for a rise in the number of inmates on death row. His job, however, wouldn't change much. They would still screen individuals and use the death penalty appropriately based on the facts of the case.
If anyone has committed this offense, we want to do, one, we want to send a message to the community that you can't do this to our children. Two, we want to send a message to that individual that that person is going to be punished for what they've done. And three, we want to send a message to the victim to say, look, the person that did this to you is going.
I'm curious if they put something like this and not leave it in the legislators' hands, right? If they put this bill on for vote by the people, like on election day, because sometimes I know in local election, not local, when you vote here, you also vote on certain bills that you want to see passed, laws that you want to see passed. I wonder if every state did this. Obviously, California, they'd be like, oh, no. We want to slap them on the wrist. I wonder if they would put this on the ballots, just like abortion, for every state. How many people would vote for the death penalty for CSAM? I, for one, think it should be a federal fucking law. Anyway, well, good morning, Juniper. Good to see you.
Going to have the highest possible punishment.
Neighboring states like Tennessee and Florida have laws similar to the bill Simpson is supporting. Other states include Idaho, Oklahoma.
Did he say Tennessee? Strange. What's even funnier, this state, Alabama, it's where I graduated high school. It's where I started school. And it's where I enlisted in the United States Army. Crazy! And now I live in Tennessee. Because it's just better. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just better.
Oklahoma and Arkansas.
And I want to see Alabama on that list in 2026.
Simpson tells me they will go into session on January 13th and says he wants to do everything he can to have this bill be the first one to come through. In Lauderdale County, I'm Whitney Leibel, News 19.
January 13th? Why so long? That doesn't make any fucking sense. That doesn't make any sense. Now, quietly, yesterday, a federal judge whose name is Engelmeyer, and yes, I looked this dude's name up through my Grok, and I specifically said, hey Grok, what is this guy's religion? Can you guess what Grok told me for Engelmeyer? It's a Germanic name. However, once you see what the story pertains to, you can put two and two together.
This is U.S. District Judge Paul A.
It might help. Hey, Corey. Corey knows.
Is U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer. You want to know who's blocking the Epstein files from being released?
Listen, this is real. I just used her for aesthetic because, you guys would probably listen to her more than you would me because you're like, oh, and then she's got that weird northerner accent.
This guy right here. I just want to know why, for 4 years, when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were in the White House, not one of you, not one, were like, release the Epstein
Or Midwest,
files.
Actually.
So this judge, who was appointed in 2011 by Barack Obama, is the one that is denying the release of the grand jury testimony for Ghislaine Maxwell, and not one of you were saying anything about it. You didn't say anything about it before either, when Senator Dick Durbin, a Democrat, blocked Marsha Blackburn from releasing.
I played that Blackburn when it happened. Durbin tried to go right past it. And then you have, certain people in this community who are obviously so fucking Trump deranged that anytime I post something, like I posted this, and he's like, anything to deflect that Trump's on. Okay, dude, relax. We get it. You don't like Trump. And apparently, whenever anyone mentions the Epstein list that didn't mention the Epstein's list, is only because Trump's on it. They only care about seeing Trump's name on it. Client files. But the grand jury testimony, they're trying to say it's like 1%. Okay? Maxwell was his fucking partner. He's fucking partner. So it's definitely more than 1%, Sam.
The Epstein files. And that was during the Biden presidency, and not one of you was like, release the list. Not one of you. Anyways, Newsmax just dropped this story, like now. Transcripts of the secret grand jury testimony that led to the, indictment of Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, won't be released, a judge decided today. U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmeyer said in a written ruling that the government had suggested that the materials could be released publicly, casually, or promiscuously, which would risk unraveling the foundations of secrecy upon which the grand jury is premised and eroding confidence by people called to testify before future grand juries. You know what? Redact the names and say these are being redacted because these are the names of the grand jury, the secret grand jury. And what are you guys taking after, like Shrek or something? Better late than ever, I always said. No, not one of you said anything for years. Federal prosecutors had asked to unseal the documents in an effort to calm suspicion about what the government knows about Epstein, a well-connected financier who died behind bars awaiting trial on those types of charges. Maxwell was later convicted of helping him prey on underage girls. Prosecutors have said much of what was discussed behind grand jury's closed doors ultimately became public at Maxwell's 2021 trial in victim civil lawsuits or public statements from victims, the witnesses, and the only grand jury witnesses were law enforcement officers. And in this part right here, I just wanted you to pay special close attention. Epstein had already served jail time and registered as a SO after pleading guilty to Florida prostitution offenses in 2008 deal that would let him avoid federal charges at the time. President Donald Trump later raised questions about Epstein's death. The president told Attorney General Pam Bondi to ask courts to unseal the grand jury transcripts, but you see, Judge Engelmeyer said no. I wonder why. It's not like the most outspoken of survivors.
If Bondi has them, great. Don't you think Bondi or somebody... Hang on. We know those aren't going to be released. No, FBI is not going to be released because they've had it for years and they've decided not to release it. This grand jury testimony would be the closest thing to what we can get to that Epstein client list because, well, that grand jury testimony has people's names in it and what they may or may not have done, but it's sealed to protect people. Protect them. And as you can see, this Engelmeyer and his wife are Jewish. Again, nothing against the Jews, but everything against the Jews. Somehow, one way or another, they have their own foot in the door. What's up, Short Bus?
Well, look.
And when it comes to pedophiles, when you're supposed to be the one arresting the people, why would you fucking make videos of you having sex with a minor? A police officer. Let's find out.
Looking at that indictment we just got in this morning, the investigators seem to have uncovered months of communication between the 51-year-old female deputy and this then 17-year-old girl. We are told that those videos include the deputy performing sex acts on the then minor. The sheriff here at Miami-Dade saying she is disturbed by all of it. After several years of serving in Miami-Dade law enforcement, this deputy, Carly Miranda Blum, is now relieved of her duty and in federal custody, charged with receipt and production of child sex abuse material involving a 17-year-old. In the indictment of the 51-year-old woman, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida says Blum traveled to Atlanta, Georgia to meet up with the teen last year. Investigators say they found videos on the teen's iPad of Blum performing sex acts on the minor, uploaded in October of 2024. They also connected Blum to an Instagram account with a long message history with the teenage victim, where they exchanged sexual pictures and videos through June and July of this year. The Miami-Dade sheriff says they've helped in this investigation, confirming Blum was on duty and working on the day she received some of those messages. On the minor's iPad, turned over by a, quote, witness who shares the device with the young girl, federal investigators say they found an album documenting threatening messages allegedly sent by Blum when the teen tried to end their relationship. The witness coming forward now over concerns about the teen's mental health. Their tip prompted a long search of Blum's house and homestead this week, and now she is in custody. The Miami-Dade County Sheriff says these allegations are not only criminal, but, quote, a betrayal of the badge, the public trust, and the oath we swear to uphold.
Start CPR if he's out.
She says they stand in direct opposition to everything we represent as law enforcement officers and as human beings. And if convicted on these charges, Deputy Blum could face a maximum of 50 years in federal prison. Live in Doral this afternoon.
Yo, imagine if she got the 50 years, because she's 51 already. I don't know how women prisoners do it, but she'll die if she gets a 50-year sentence. I don't feel bad about it. Everything I've said right now and future is completely satire, YouTube, and no means do I ever wish death upon pedophiles. But in reality, I do. Okay? Alright? Just had to put out there that some of the stuff I say may be satire, but it's you. It's up to you to decide. Free thought. Free thought. Google AI. Remember that. Okay. So we're going to head over the pond to England. And, well, they do have a pedophile problem over there. This pedophile that they're going to talk about, vaguely, he was caught by an online predator group in the UK. Don't know who it is, because this video came out 2 months ago. But, I want you to enjoy this as much as I did.
Morning of August 20th, 2024, and at HMP Fossway, the world's most high-tech prison, located in Leicester, England, inmate 21-year-old Thierry Robinson has just exited his cell after being let out for the day. He's captured here on CCTV with a huge grin on his face, heading over to his neighbour, 18-year-old Ashiri Smith. After waiting for him momentarily, the pair walk down the block and head over to the other side to a cell belonging to convicted paedophile Mahir Mohammed. When they re-emerge, there's no sign of Mahir. Now, one might take a look at this and think there's nothing wrong. However, ladies and gentlemen, something serious just went down in Mahir's cell. And if you hadn't guessed it by now, Thierry Robinson and Ashiri Smith had just murdered a paedophile.
What?
If you're wondering why HMP Fossway looks more like a hotel than a prison, well, that's because it's...
Can you really murder a pedophile? Is that a thing? I didn't know that. I thought you were just, making the world a better place.
classified as Cat C. Prisons in the United Kingdom are ranked in categories, A being the most secure, home to some of the country's most dangerous people, all the way through to category D, which is essentially a big home that prisoners have to live in, instead of going to their actual residence. In a Cat D prison, some of the inmates are allowed to leave to go to work or study, and then return.
Well, their
If they prove
prison
that they can do
system is
that over a
crazy.
period, they're even allowed to spend multiple days out of the prison and stay overnight at an approved address, say with a girlfriend for example. HMP Fossway isn't quite that. Again, it's a Cat C resettlement prison. In other words, it's a highly secured facility that's designed to prepare inmates for reintegration into society without leaving. It offers certain amenities
Yo, I'm
such as
telling you, like,
access
this prison, when I was watching this morning, dude, it's literally a dorm.
to a gym facility,
They get a
five-a-side
computer in
football
their cell.
pitches, a music studio, computers within the cell, and even offers educational workshops in various sectors. So yeah, that's why some of you may think it looks like a hotel. I mean, to be fair, you wouldn't be by yourself in thinking that way, because when it first opened back in 2023, the prison made headlines for exactly that. Online critics compared it to a luxury hotel. They said, at the bare minimum, it was better than student accommodation. Over the past couple of years, HMP Fossway has gone viral for both
What's up,
positive
Smashley?
and negative reasons. On the one hand, you had YouTuber Mr. Who's the Boss dub it the world's highest tech prison, while on the other hand, you had inmates within the prison filming TikTok videos complaining that sex offenders were being put on certain wings where they'd be able to see women and children who were visiting the facility.
Oh, the guy filming this? He's a fucking prisoner in his prison. Filming TikToks and shit.
This is HMP Fossway, where we're on E block at the minute, and we're looking over to F block and the car park. Now, the jail wants to put the nonces on E and F wing, so when people's visitors and children come to visit people, they can see the car park and they'll be stood at the windows doing nasty things to the people's visitors. We want to protest about this. And the visits go straight in where you can see now. It's not good because, like I say, this E and F block look over the car park and we don't want them our kids. It's not fair. They should not get this block and where they can see public human people coming.
At least the fucking prisoners want to protect children. If you look at the bottom screen, his little fucking thing is protect your children. Prisoners are out against this.
It needs a petition that it wants moving down to they can have A and B block. And people's
If you think
families
about it, this is kind of like similar to what Maxwell lives in now in Texas.
Need to get them to petition as well and protest against them because they can't be on the outside fence looking at all the kids and the people coming in. It's not fair. And we're on E block, HMP Fossway, Nonce Palace. It's the pedo palace of England, and they want it to make it so they can see us kids from the fence. It's not happening. Please watch this video and please protest against it. Put a petition against it. These nonsense cannot come to the fence.
One of the sex offenders who was mixed in with the inmates was 31-year-old Mahir Mohammed. His image bizarrely hasn't been published.
I wonder why there's no picture. I mean, judging by the name, I would say he's totally from England.
And there's only a small section in the news as to why he even ended up in HMP Fossway to begin with. Mr. Mohammed had been jailed for an online conversation with a girl whom he thought was in her early teens. The girl was a decoy set up to snare pedophiles. The vigilante group behind the snare reported him to the police, and he ended up being jailed at HMP Fossway. For that conviction, he was handed a 35-week prison sentence and was due to be released on...
You hear that? That part I forgot. 35-week punishment. 35 weeks. And I believe he was a day from being released.
August 21st, 2024. So yeah, Mahir had been caught by an online sting group and had landed himself in jail. We don't know what his time was like in the jail for the most part, but according to a report, his life had been made a literal living hell in the few weeks leading up to his release. This would have been around the time he crossed paths with his killers, Ashiri and Thierry. Those two, by the way, are infamous in their own right. Yes, this story takes a whole other turn when we come to find out that one of them is a relatively famous and successful UK drill rapper, and the other made national headlines for being extremely brazen with a firearm. Thierry, known by his alias Trills, has been making music for some years. His videos have racked up millions of views. However, he wasn't just a
Even the
rapper, he
Brits
was
drink
also a
Hennessy.
drug dealer, and that's how he ended up in HMP Fossway for 5.5 years. It was the circumstances surrounding Ashiri's arrest back in late 2023 that made news outlets from across the country pick up on his story. He had videoed himself dancing with a loaded gun. For that, he was jailed for 3.5 years in April of
For
2024.
dancing with a loaded gun?
HMP Fossway was where he was going to call home while serving his sentence.
What up, Yeti? They're about to arrest the other guy. Well, they don't play around when they're arresting people over there, huh? I mean, it's also the same country where they can put you in jail for misgendering a police officer and you're like 8 years old.
What's your name? Last said you step out of here.
Appears to be a Walther self-loading pistol made in Germany. Appears to be a 9mm.
Do you think the Brits call them the usual suspects too?
With a 19-round capacity.
Once Mahir had crossed paths with the pair, they subjected him to weeks of verbal taunts and physical attacks due to the nature of his offending. On August 19th, 2024, just 2 days before he was due to be released, Ashiri had visited Mahir's cell on 12 different occasions. While there, he verbally insulted him and physically assaulted him. Towards the end of the day, Mahir threw a kettle filled with boiling water through the gap of his cell door, which hit both Ashiri and Thierry. It was a revenge attack. This had been the first time he retaliated. Given the fact he was due to be released on the 21st, he probably thought he'd have been alright for a day. However, according to a report, as the hours went on, he asked to be moved to a different part of the prison as he feared for his life. Reality set in. That move wasn't granted, and well, you know what went down the following morning. At around 7:45 AM on August 20th, 2024, Mahir Mohammed had been found unresponsive in his cell by a female prison officer. He had been repeatedly punched, kicked, and stamped over the course of around 37 seconds. Thierry...
It's funny because you see all these blurred images, so people heard that. I mean, they were walking by, they had to see it too.
Ashiri couldn't appear weak after the kettle attack. It marked Mahir for death. His prediction was correct. He would officially be pronounced dead by paramedics around an hour after the attack. His eventual cause of death was a bleed to the brain. The investigation was swift, the pair were banged to rights, and eventually they were charged with murder. They surprisingly denied the charges that were placed against them and went on trial in the spring of 2025. In the end, Ashiri was found guilty of murder and was sentenced
I think what happened is, like, they went into the cell and like, hey dude, you need to clean that spot up off your floor because every time you do this, we get in trouble. And the dude's like, what spot? He's like, that spot right there. I don't see no spot. So they took him and put his face right there on the spot. And what happened is, like, because the floor was so dirty, one of them went to show him and, like, you know, and slipped up in the air, right? And then fucking people's elbow right on the fucking back of the face, skull, into the concrete. I think that's what happened. It was total accident. It had to be an accident. Okay. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't get shit out of order. Alright, so we have people out there that like to hurt children, minor children, and they're adults. What if they're not hurting their children through sexual abuse, but straight neglect.
A local mother is accused of leaving her teenage child and 7 dogs all alone for 2 weeks while she was in Las Vegas. Jessica Copeland is charged with animal abuse and child neglect. Putnam County deputies say the child and pets had no food or care. And these are some of the pictures taken by the sheriff's office of the filthy...
Well, Smashley, just imagine it was like a curb stomp. Like, hey, bite the rim of your toilet.
living conditions. Action News Jack's Madison Foglio is live from the sheriff's office. Madison, you found out family members contacted deputies.
And Ben, it was family members that were outside of the county, and it wasn't just one family member that contacted deputies, it was 2 of them. The first one called early in the morning to do a welfare check on the teenager that was inside that house, but hours later, another family member who does not live in Putnam County either reported the alleged abuse of those 7 dogs. This is what Putnam County...
They were worried about the dogs over the child? I mean, I get it, dogs are important too, but the child would be first.
Sheriff deputies walked into when they answered a call about alleged animal abuse. These pictures were given to us by the sheriff's office. You can see the shocking state of the house.
Look at that
dog
shit.
bowls without water, and the dogs clearly malnourished. However, what you don't see in these pictures is a teenager who told deputies his mother left him and their 7 dogs alone for 2 weeks without enough food to go to Las Vegas. According to the arrest report, deputies found 1 dog locked in a bedroom with no food or water and was in a room in approximately 4 inches deep of animal
Holy
feces.
shit.
The bedrooms were found encased in a thick layer of brown/white matter identified as animal feces, and the deputy...
Bro. 4 inches of dog shit?
Deputies note that the teenager was not given the proper necessities to survive. Jessica Copeland was arrested by the Putnam County Sheriff's Office when she was coming back from her Vegas trip. It was also the same day as her birthday. She's charged with child neglect and 7 counts of conservation of animals. We spoke with some Putnam County mothers and got their reaction to the situation.
She didn't think about her children, her animals. She just wasn't thinking or
she mentioned the children first.
Had any feelings towards what she should be doing.
The irresponsibility in that is just inexcusable.
Those mothers were clearly emotional when I was speaking to them about this situation. Now, the Putnam County Sheriff's Office did tell me that those animals have been surrendered to Animal Services, where they are going to be going through rehabilitation, and they will be up for adoption soon. As for the teenager,
can they be
he has since
rehabilitated?
been released back to other family members after being in the custody of DCF.
I'm Will B. Genie with Campus Reforma. Today I'm in down.
I hope she goes to jail for a really, 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 hold on, really long time. Did she, what kind of, like, there's no way that house got that dirty in 2 weeks. There's no fucking way. And 4 inches of dog shit in a room? What are we in Iraq? Holy fuck. I don't know, man. That's the kind of house you kind of have to burn down after that. There's no... I wonder what the kid's age was and how soon before they turn 18. Because fuck, man. It's got to scar that kid. But yeah, in reality, they have to burn that house. Or, hear me out, put bars on the windows, bars on the door, and put mama in there. That's her cell. No water. She gets a bucket that gets emptied twice a day. A bucket. She gets 3 bottles of water a day. All right? All right. And she gets a loaf of bread every 3 days. Me, I would probably eat the whole loaf of bread in like half a day. Because you know what? If I'm starving, like, ooh, bread. Ooh, bread. All right. So we're going to talk about Texas again. And all these Democrat lawmakers who are like, you know what? We know we're going to lose. We're just not going to show up in solidarity, for democracy. Well, they think they're doing great, big, wonderful things. What about the voters? What do the voters think about what these guys are doing? Do they think it's a good idea? Do they think that, they're doing, social justice warrior good shit? You're going to get redistricted anyway. It's just a matter of when you show up. But when you're not showing up for, not this video, hold on. Okay, so after this video, we're going to listen to the House representative, and he's going to explain what bills have come up for today for vote. And let's see if they're not back in time. Well, let's see what the voters think.
Downtown Austin, Texas. Democrat lawmakers recently fled the state of Texas to avoid voting on a new congressional redistricting map. So today we'll be asking young people in Austin, Texas if they think that these lawmakers should be held accountable. Let's ask them and find out.
And notice college campuses.
Have you heard about the lawmakers that recently fled the state of Texas?
Very briefly, I have, yeah.
What do you think about that?
I show up to work. I think you probably show up to work. I don't see a reason why everyone can't show up to work.
I'm not entirely too sure.
It's quitting, even though you're still getting paid for it. So, really mad about it.
That's pretty interesting.
I do support their decision to leave.
If there was a project that you were working at your job, and for whatever reason you didn't like it, so you decided just not to show up to work one day, how would that go over for you?
I would be fired.
You'd be fired?
Yeah.
Reprimanded for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
It would have been fired on day 2.
Get fired. Well, it wouldn't go well, especially with management. I mean, if we're thinking about it work-wise.
I would probably be talked to later, potentially reprimanded.
And let's say you were gonna take a flight somewhere.
Where the fuck does she work? Hold on.
Be talked to later.
Management. I mean, if we're thinking about it work-wise.
I would probably be talked to later, potentially reprimanded.
Yo, where does she work? Because I'm just not going to show up, once or twice a week. So, because all they're going to do is talk to me about it later. Oh, wait, I'm brown. I just got fired. I haven't even got accepted and I just got fired. God damn it.
And let's say you were going to take a flight somewhere, right? And the flight attendants didn't like the route that they were about to take. So they decided not to show up, and as a result, you missed your flight. How would that make you feel?
I feel like I would show up in the wrong place, and that's not them doing their job.
I want to ask why they're feeling that way, and maybe if they have a good enough reason, I would be on their side.
Disappointed, bad, mad, all bad feelings, because I put my trust in them when I bought the flight.
I guess if my flight was
Well, no.
or something for whatever.
Well, yeah, I don't think she's going to get paid. But these legislators from Texas, they are getting paid. They're getting paid to not show up to work and do this fucking protesting. That's why the Senate or the Speaker of the House says they have to get paid. Yes, they do. But it doesn't say how we have to pay them. So in order for them to get paid, they have to come in to the Capitol building and sign for their paycheck, just like they used to do back in the day.
Reason, I mean, it wouldn't make me feel good, but I'm also a very understanding person.
Yo.
I mean, it wouldn't make.
Look how many chins this bitch has got. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy hell, how can a not so fat lady have 4 fucking chins? Maybe she's Chinese.
Me feel good, but I'm also a very understanding person. School's almost back in session. Kids are going to be going to school. Students are going to be going to college. Let's say there was a kid who didn't want to go to school. Kid throws a temper tantrum, screaming, crying, kicking. You know, we've all seen it. We've all been there. We've all seen these kids, you know, scream and cry because they don't want to go to school. If that was your kid, would you make that kid go to school, or would you let that kid stay at home?
I'd probably let them make them go to school.
Yep.
Again, I would be asking why the kid is feeling that way that day. I mean, people feel that way about their jobs.
Yo, if my kid said, hey, Dad, I don't want to go to school. Can I stay home? No. It's not, why? Well, what's making you feel that way? Maybe we can come to an understanding to where I can let you... No, motherfucker. Get your ass to school.
Sometimes.
I'll make him go.
I think if the kid had good attendance and, you know, wasn't
Relax, Dominique. Relax. Good morning.
missing school a lot of the time, then yeah, I would hear the reasoning from my child.
Do you think that these legislators who aren't showing up to do the job that they were...
Yo, so far, have you noticed that the 2 fucking retard comments are from the white girls? I'm just saying, it's a little something that I noticed.
were elected to do are acting kind of like children, throwing temper tantrums, not wanting to show up to work?
If I knew more, maybe I'd go to an extreme, and I hear you, and I hear what you're saying, and the comparison. I would say that it's a little bit unprofessional. I think that everyone can agree upon that.
100%, yeah.
Don't you think that these state lawmakers are acting a little bit like children, throwing temper tantrums now?
Where are you going?
Seeing as your tax dollars pay the
Wow.
salaries of state lawmakers, don't you want them to show up to work and do what they're supposed to do?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, if you have an expectation and there's an agreement, yes, other people are expecting you to do your job, and there's a domino effect when you don't.
Oh. Oh, wait.
I guess.
I thought she said she wants to talk to them and figure out why they're not doing there. All of a sudden, she's like, wait a second, I do pay them. No, fuck that. Get the bitches to work.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
The Attorney General and the Governor, they're threatening to have these representatives removed from office if they don't show up to work. Would you support that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that there should be steps taken. I'm not sure if a removal is the right thing. I don't know. Again, I'm not in politics, but I'd like to say that hopefully there's some sort of compromise so we can make some steps in the right direction.
I mean, yeah, they should be held to similar standards. 100%.
Great, thank you so much.
The people that are supporting these guys leaving the state not doing their jobs are... Hold on, I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, the people that are supporting this are typically the older people who, let's be honest, are sheep. Let's be honest about it. You get to a certain age and then you're just like, yep, I need to be told what to do now because I think I deserve that. Or, big or, they have blue hair and live off the government. They just lost all their SNAP benefits for junk food. Now they actually have to buy, sustainable, nutritional food, whatever. My kids are going to go hungry because they have to eat apples instead of sugary fruit snacks. Hold on, I'm going to go past the bell.
In Jesus' name I pray.
We have the honor and the freedom and liberty. Please join me.
This is the one right here.
Hold on a second. Smashley. Darling, what's wrong with blue hair? Let's start off with an easy question. What's not wrong about blue hair? Smashley, did you vote Democrat? Do you have blue hair? Or do you have purple hair? Huh? Do you have a septum piercing? I bet you have a septum piercing too. Right? Huh? Do you drink Faygo? I don't know where the Faygo part came from. That just completely came out of nowhere. You didn't vote. You don't side with idiots. Oh, so you have blonde hair. Okay. I'll forgive you. Because, blonde people don't have any idea what's going on. Nostril or septum? Nostril or septum? This is where the answer comes very importantly. Could be, Dom. I don't think I have safe words, though. Smashley, answer the question. The world wants to know. Your silence lets me know. Back to the video.
Members, may I have...
All right. That's a redeeming quality. Gotcha. I'll let you have that. Especially since you don't have blue hair. Okay. Now, was it like blonde, dirty blonde, or like,
Have your attention. The role has...
Every time I see this guy talk, I see these two shiny spots on his head. I'm like, there's no way those are bald spots. And I keep getting it's like a mind fuck for my eyeballs. No, it's just shiny hair.
Been called and a quorum is not present. Today, the Calendars Committee placed House Bills 1, 2, 18, 19, and 20, all vital flooding and disaster response measures, on the Tuesday calendar by a unanimous 6-0 vote. These are not symbolic bills. They are critical measures that would expand the powers of the Texas Division of Emergency Management to improve emergency response across the state, create the Texas Interoperability Council, which would help local governments acquire key communication equipment to better coordinate response efforts, assist communities with purchasing and upgrading emergency communication systems,
so this flood happened July 4th. Here it is August 12th. And they haven't voted on anything for the state towards the flood victims and flood recovery. Maybe their districts don't have any flood victims. That must be it.
Outdoor campground facilities to have a flood disaster plan, and create public protections against fraudulent bad actors trying to solicit charitable donations after a disaster. Those bills are set to be on the floor tomorrow.
Today.
And I know those of us present are eager to take action on them. The only thing standing between Texas and real disaster relief is whether our absent colleagues decide to show up tomorrow. Now, to update you on the process of locating our colleagues and compelling a quorum, the Department of Public Safety has special agents deployed in every region of Texas. The House has deputized dozens of officers and dispatched them across the state. They are set up outside members' homes, conducting surveillance, knocking on doors, calling their phones multiple times a day. So far, no one's home, but the search continues and it will not stop. We also want to thank the public.
Ain't gonna lie though,
Many have
they've been
submitted.
doing this for a week now. Most jobs, 99% of jobs except for Congress, you'd have been fired. No questions asked, and they would have been well within their rights to fire you. As a fucking constituent, I'd want answers.
Tips about whereabouts of absent members. For example, over the weekend, we received word of a rally in Fort Worth where a couple of absent members were allegedly making appearance. We took this as actionable intelligence, and DPS was dispatched immediately. Although in this instance, members did not end up being physically present at the event, we will keep following every credible lead until these members return. I have asked DPS to establish a tip line to receive information and leads regarding members' whereabouts if they happen to be in the state. That phone number is...
Oh yeah, he gives out a number, 866 number, basically saying, hey, if you see these guys, give us a tip. And thank you, we'll take appropriate actions. So they do have people sitting outside these houses, these senators, congressmen's houses, waiting for them to show up, basically surveillance. These guys, and they're fucking bragging about it, these ones in Indiana, or Illinois, New York, Massachusetts. There's another one. Did I say New York? Massachusetts, California, Illinois. All because they're like, this is gerrymandering. You know, I haven't heard gerrymandering since I was in, was it 10th grade? 10th grade government class. And we're going to listen to some hypocrisy.
Years ago that New York's Democratic legislature drew up a map so brazenly contemptuous of basic rules that govern a district's contiguousness that the state's Democrat-dominated Court of Appeals threw it out. The New York Times at the time called those maps comically contorted. That's their quote. So your state's highest court at the time, all the judges appointed by Democratic governors, they threw the maps out. So fair to say Democrats have done what they're now accusing Republicans of doing.
No, we followed the rules. We do it every 10 years. We base it on census.
But the court said you didn't follow the rules.
Well, we did follow the rules.
So the court was wrong?
But we followed the rules.
Every major group that grades the fairness of congressional maps gives your state an F. Common Cause, a nonpartisan government watchdog, even says your map represents a nearly perfect model for everything that can go wrong with redistricting. And I guess the question is, you talk about preserving democracy. How do you preserve democracy if you're using the same tactics that you've criticized Texas Republicans for?
But as I say, what they're talking about is a distraction. The reality is that the violation of people's voting rights is what Texas is attempting to do. That's what's wrong with their efforts right now. And the fact that the President of the United States knows it and nevertheless is asking them to do it. That is what's wrong with what we're seeing right now. Democracy is at stake.
I want to start off by asking you this morning, the homepage of the group you lead, the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, says, quote, there is no off-season in redistricting. Gerrymandering poses a critical threat to our democracy. But now you're arguing that Democrats
I'm not gonna lie.
going to have
Anytime
to
I see something that says it's a threat to our democracy, it feels so much better. It feels so much better.
Gerrymandering, quote, in order to save our democracy. So let me ask you, how can gerrymandering both be a threat to democracy and also the way to save it?
Well, there's no question that gerrymandering is a threat to our democracy. It allows politicians to pick their voters as opposed to citizens choosing their representatives. But we are now in a situation where we find ourselves where authoritarian moves are being made by the White House through various states, Texas most prominent among them, and there has to be a response to that. What I've said is that we have to protect our democracy now if we ultimately want to be able to save it. And so taking the reasonable steps that have been proposed in California, I think it makes a great deal of sense in this moment. A temporary way in which to respond to that which is happening in Texas, with the thought that after this crisis has passed, we get back to the fight against gerrymandering by anybody.
If Texas lawmakers are trying to talk fairness in the partisan process, Illinois is the last place they should be looking to or coming to.
Look, this happens every now and then where Republicans basically do the playbook that Democrats have been running for a while, and then Democrats go, wait, you're not supposed to do that. Only we're supposed to do that. Even the New York Times reported or admitted that Democrats have little to fight back with on the gerrymandering front because they have gerrymandered their states so extensively.
Now, when you look at that, you see Pritzker, Hochul, and mainly Pritzker and Hochul. You know, Pritzker wants to run for president. Of course he's going to do this stupid shit. But when he got pressed about his state doing the exact same shit...
The more desperate the left becomes, the more...
Joining me now...
let's see if this is the one. Let's see what his response is. Because not only does he get he gets called out by MSNBC, he gets called out by a comedian too.
Now is the Democratic governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. Governor Pritzker, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Great to see you, Kristen.
Well, it is great to have you here after a...
Not gonna lie. Kristen Welker. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very big week. Your state is housing some of the Democrats who fled Texas to block redistricting there. Senator John Cornyn says the FBI granted his request to help track them down. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott says they are preparing to arrest those Democrats. What would you do if law enforcement officials tried to arrest Texas lawmakers?
Their exact words, they're going to be taken into custody and brought to the Capitol building. That's it.
Your state, Governor.
Well, first of all, Texas law does not apply in the state of Illinois, and there's no federal law that would allow the FBI to arrest anybody that's here visiting our state. So it's a lot of grandstanding. That's what this is all about. And so John Cornyn, who's trying to run for re-election, apparently losing to an even more extreme MAGA Republican, Ken Paxton, trying to get some headlines for himself. And Greg Abbott, of course, has been a disaster for the country as he sent people across the country on his quest to change the immigration discussion. And of course, we had 50,000 migrants that were sent to the state of Illinois because of him. So what I can tell you is that the Texas Democrats that are here are welcome. We're providing them a safe haven, a place for them to visit and stay. Breaking quorum because they're heroes that are standing up not just for their own constituents and for the people of Texas and their rights, but also for the rights of people all across the country.
They're heroes. They're heroes. Okay. Okay.
Country, because what Greg Abbott is doing and what Donald Trump is attempting to do is to cheat. Decade here. This is they're attempting to change the map. They know that they're going to lose.
So hear me out. Hear me out. What if come 2028 election, right? And it comes to certify the votes, the election results, all Republicans just don't show up. They can't really certify the vote, now can they? Interesting concept. Probably would never happen because it's all satire. What's up, Carmen?
In 2026, the Congress, and so they're trying to steal seats. And so that is what these Texas Democrats are trying to stand up against. And then don't forget, the map that they put together it violates the Voting Rights Act and it violates the Constitution. And so thank God for these Texas House Democrats.
Well, let's talk about the issue at hand here. Texas Republicans being urged by President Trump, as you just said, are pushing this mid-decade redistricting plan. Their goal is to add as many as 5 GOP seats in response to Democrats like yourself.
Not on top of that. They're mad that Trump wants to redo the census. Why would they be mad if Trump wants to redo the census? Ask yourself that. Especially when they want voter ID laws. Think that would change anything? I think it would.
Of drawing your own maps to boost seats in blue states. Take a listen to what Texas Governor Greg Abbott told my colleague Ryan Chandler about that. Take a look.
What's your message to governors like Newsom, Hochul, Pritzker, who have said they will retaliate if Texas does this?
They have no capability. They've already gerrymandered their states in ways in which they don't have hard.
Yo, you think Greg Abbott, real name is Xavier? He's in a wheelchair, right? Look at that fucking dome he's got on him. Huh? Professor X.
Any Republican members of Congress, look at the map.
Or
Illinois. It's drawn in such a way that they can't even squeeze out another Republican. It's a joke.
What's your response to Governor Abbott?
Well, Governor Abbott is the joke. He's the one who is attempting mid-decade here at a time when, frankly, all of us are concerned about the future of democracy.
NPW?
He's literally helping whittle it away and licking the boots of his
Bootlegger.
leader, Donald Trump. Here in Illinois, we followed the law. We provided a map and passed a map that follows the Voting Rights Act and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Illinois. He's attempting to thwart federal law and take away 5 seats that are in the hands of black, brown, minority.
If you think about it, with this whole new world order, what if the guy that's bringing peace to the entire world, right? What if he is part of the plan? Think about it.
Congress people and the people that they represent.
Yeah.
He's taking those.
Yeah, you're right about that, Carmen. I didn't even thought about that these days. Especially in New York City. Well, shit, not even St. Louis, Los Angeles, Compton, Houston, New Orleans.
Votes away. He's violating the Constitution. And all of us need to stand up and speak out and make sure that it's understood across the country that what they're trying to do in Texas is illegal.
Well, Governor, it might be illegal. It's not unprecedented, though, or it might be rare, I should say. But Texas actually tried to redraw districts mid-decade before in 2003, and the U.S. Supreme Court actually upheld the map in that case with the exception of one district. So the argument that Abbott is making is it's not illegal, though they are doing it certainly in an off year. But I do want to look at the map of Illinois. Let's take a look at this. Despite President Trump winning 44% of the statewide vote in 2024, Republicans hold only 3 of Illinois' 17 districts. These districts seem to be designed to maximize Democratic advantage. What do you say to those who argue that it's hypocritical for you to criticize
around
Texas
the big cities
for partisanship when your state also drew maps to boost your party's standing?
Well, remember that what Texas is trying to do is, again, violate the Voting Rights Act.
What Texas is trying is like, no. How dare you say that we did the same thing?
We didn't. We held public hearings, legislative hearings. People attended them. They spoke out. There was a map that was put out. There were actually changes made to the map. and a map was passed. And it was done at the end of the census, the decennial census. So that's how it's done in this country. You talked about how rare it is to do what he's doing. Yes, it is. What's even rarer is to do it at the behest of the President of the United States, who's clearly attempting to and says that he deserves to have 5 more seats. He's wrong. And he's attempting to change the game because, again, he passed this big, ugly bill. It's hyper unpopular in Texas, among people in Texas, and across the country. And he knows he's going to lose the Congress in 2026. That's why.
So this big, beautiful bill. Granted, I don't like it because the money it adds to debt. But there are parts of that bill, and this is why I hate omnibus bills, that actually were needed. However, now, the thing about these bills, if it works, Republicans will be like, fuck yeah. If it doesn't work, the Democrats will be like, fuck yeah. And then all they're going to do is, oh, we're going to vote for him because he's not Donald Trump. How's that going to work in 2028? We're not going to vote for him because he's not Donald Trump. Wait, Trump's not running? Yes, he is. They told us Donald Trump is going to run for a 3rd term. I don't know where I was going with it. All right, let's go. Yeah, fuck Pritzker. Now, maybe not everybody watches the morning news, or not morning news, the Meet the Press, because it really is a long, boring show. But what if they put on the local news that, hey, your governor is basically did the same thing, but now he's crying about it.
On Wednesday night, Governor J.B. Pritzker made an appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He joked about Illinois' political map, saying kindergartners drew our congressional districts. Now, the remark comes during a broader conversation about political maps, including the fight happening right now over redistricting in Texas. In fact, just today, the FBI agreed to track down Democrats who left the state because of the issue. So let's bring in Harrison Belsante here. Harrison, you try to get a few perspectives on how Illinois plays into all of this.
Yeah, John, Texas Democrats are actually now fleeing the state to block the vote, like you said, and Governor J.B. Pritzker is now welcoming them here to Illinois. But as you're about to see, experts and critics argue Illinois has its own gerrymandering problem.
Oh,
Please welcome
what?
to The Late Show, Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Critics point to Illinois' 17th congressional district from Rock Island to Rockford as a clear case of partisan map making.
We have some crazy districts in Illinois. Take a look at this.
Colbert knows he's done, so now he's like, you know what? Let's bring it out in the open. Too late, bro. And I think that's where the fall, in my opinion, the fall of late night talk shows was when they started getting political. When they started getting overly political. When we growing up, I think the only late show that was remotely political was The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. But that was on cable network.
Look at 17 here. It does that. Then it comes up here and it sneaks around there and goes all the way up here.
Well, we handed it over to a kindergarten class and let them decide.
State House reporter Ben Selinsky says new lines pushed the district safely into Democratic hands.
That's a really perfect example of Democrat gerrymandering. They took a district that wasn't quite in their corner.
Augustana College political scientist Paul Bumgarner says the design isn't just unusual, it's strategic.
Illinois is aggressively gerrymandered, has been aggressively gerrymandered.
He said
Trump will be 82 when this next election happens. You know he's not going to get reelected because then his cognitive decline by that age will definitely be showing.
As districts drawn to guarantee a winner can discourage participation. Illinois House Minority Leader Tony McComey agrees, saying the impact of gerrymandering extends beyond party lines and voters across the state are feeling it.
They are so disenfranchised, not only in the Quad City area, but Rockford and Chicago and St. Louis, even in Democrat cities.
While redistricting usually happens after the census, states like Texas are now trying to redraw maps mid-decade. According to Capital News Illinois, Pritzker calls those efforts cheating and defends Illinois' 2021 map despite criticism, saying it was drawn properly and remains constitutional.
We really are in uncharted waters.
Illinois' current congressional map got an F grade from the nonpartisan Princeton Gerrymandering Project, citing failures in fairness and competition. The lines are set until 2031, but debate over how they're drawn and who they benefit continues. Harrison Belsanti, WQAD.
So, they specifically drew those lines based off of the census. So, where are you going to get bigger numbers at mainly anyway? Around big cities. Who typically votes in big cities? Democrats. That's why you see all these big ass maps where you see, you know what? I'm confusing myself right now. So we're going to skip the next one.
Today, the Trump administration...
Now, those who don't know, DC's police now falls under the federal government. Now, the crime in DC supposedly has gone down 35% if you ask some people in the media. But crime has been slowly rising since the pandemic ended. But to them, it's still down. And to them, it's one of the safest, most beautiful cities in America. Which we all know is not very true at all. Why? Why? Because the mayor and the police don't give a shit. Or, in this case, numbers were made up. Government making up numbers? Nah, never happens. So, DC, because of the wave in crime, and we've all known DC is pretty much, depending on what time it is and where you're at, it's a beautiful place. But for the rest of the city, you got congressmen getting robbed. You have Secret Service vehicle attempted carjacking with a Secret Service agent in the car. That's in DC. You're supposed to say it's safe. There's murders every day. Hell, I don't know if it's this one or X, where it shows DC crime on the police page daily. But yeah, it's safe. It's a safe city.
is looking to ramp up its federal law enforcement presence in the nation's capital.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation.
Oh, before anybody says, is this legal? Yes, it is 100% legal. The only issue I have with this is, okay, he's using it to crack down on crime in DC, which is the nation's capital. I get it. Okay, I can agree with that, because that's the place you want to attack for the most visually upsetting optic, attacking the White House. So, okay, I could believe that. But now he's talking about doing it in places like Chicago. We saw him attempt to do it in Los Angeles. And saying that he's doing it because there's an increase in crime and we need to crack down on crime. Sounds good. Sounds good if you looking at it in that aspect. I believe it's good. However, when you make other cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, and New York federalizing the police and the National Guard, That's like martial law. Crazy when you think about it.
Capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse.
President Trump has been critical of Washington, D.C. for years. He suggested a federal takeover of the city shortly after a former government staffer who used to work for Elon Musk was attacked in an attempted carjacking, according to authorities. The president dubbing today Liberation Day in D.C.
He likes to use
take our
that word.
capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control.
Sources tell ABC News officials from the ATF, Secret Service, and U.S. Park Police have been dispatched to the district, plus 120 FBI agents. President Trump is also suggesting trying teenagers as young as 14 as adults. Despite the president's claims about violence in D.C., police data shows crime in the nation's capital is down 7% since last year. Violent crime has dropped 26%. Property crime is down 5%. Violent crime in D.C. hit a 30-year low in January. D.C.'s mayor pushing back on MSNBC.
30-year low, guys. I want you to remember all these stats that are coming out.
Now, if the priority is to show force in an American city, we know he can do that here. But it won't be because there's a spike in crime.
The National Guard was activated in D.C. for 2 high-profile events during Trump's first term. Trump called them in response to the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. Then on January 6, 2021, the Pentagon activated the National Guard when Trump's supporters stormed the Capitol. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
A D.C. police commander is...
With all those numbers that are made up, or that they're reporting, saying that, oh, crime's gone down, you know, it looks good. It looks good. You guys remember all those COVID numbers were way up to invoke fear? Remember that? Yeah, we all remember that, and they got caught. They do that with crime statistics? No. No DC police commander would ever do... Wait.
...is under investigation for allegedly making changes to crime statistics in his district. Tonight, the police department confirms Michael Pulliam was placed on paid administrative leave in mid-May, a move that came just a week after Pulliam filed an equal opportunity complaint against an assistant chief. And the police union accused the department of deliberately falsifying crime data. News 4's Paul Wagner has the story.
What?
Well, hi there. The D.C. Police Union is putting its allegations on the record tonight, claiming police supervisors in the department are manipulating crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably when compared to last year.
You didn't hear about that, did you? Oh, you know what? We're going to replay that, because remember, crime statistics in D.C. have gone down.
Wagner has the story.
Well, hi there. The D.C. Police Union is putting its allegations on the record tonight, claiming police supervisors in the department are manipulating crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably when compared to last year. As of today, according to the D.C. Police website, crime is down 25%, a decrease the chairman of the police union calls preposterous. The union's allegations come as the former commander of the 3rd District stands accused of doing what the union says is being done day in and day out.
To areas where we know.
The police union says it's happening every day. So if the police union knows, what? Somebody's got some splaining to do. And this is on NBC. This ain't Fox News.
That's Michael Pulliam standing with the chief of police at a recent news conference. At the time, he was the commander of the 3rd District, which patrols the neighborhoods of Adams Morgan and Columbia Heights. In early May, 5 law enforcement sources familiar with the investigation tell News 4 Pulliam was placed on administrative leave with pay and told he was under investigation for questionable changes to crime data. A move that came just about a week after he filed an EEOC complaint against Executive Assistant Chief of Police Andre Wright, according to 3 law enforcement sources familiar with the complaint.
Sounds like he's going to be the fall
Reasons
guy.
for that later in this story. News 4 reached out to Commander Pulliam for comment. He denied the allegations against him and referred us to the public information officer. As for the union's allegations, Chairman Greg Pemberton laid it all on the table.
When our members respond to the scene of a felony offense where there is a victim reporting that a felony occurred, inevitably there will be a lieutenant or a captain that will show up on that scene and direct those members to take a report for a lesser offense. So instead of taking a report for a shooting or a stabbing or a carjacking, they will order that officer to take a report for a theft or an injured person to the hospital or a felony assault, which is not the same type of classification.
Greg Pemberton says the police department's command staff is focusing on 2 categories in order to get the numbers to fall. They are armed with a dangerous weapon, an injured person to the hospital.
When management officials are directing officers to take reports for felony assault, or if they're going back into police databases and changing offenses to felony assault is not a category of crime that's listed on the department's daily crime stats. It's also not something that's a requirement of the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program. So by changing criminal offenses from, for example, ADW bat or ADW gun to felony assault, that would avoid both the MPD and the FBI from reporting that as a Part 1 or a felony offense.
Pemberton says the union has been gathering evidence for some time now by looking at reports and talking with officers all over the city.
What we've heard through our members and through members of management that are willing to talk with the union is that this is a directive from the command staff, is that they want to make sure that these classifications of these reports are adjusted over time to.
Wait, the whole command staff? So the chief of police as well?
Make sure that the overall crime stats stay down.
As of last Monday, when we spoke with Pemberton, D.C. crime data shows violent crime was down 28%. Today, the department's website says violent crime is down 25% when compared to the same time last year, and overall crime is down 8%.
That's preposterous. There's absolutely no way crime could be down 28%. Last year, they suggested that it went down 34%.
And there's...
All right. Just so you know, that's the president of the police chief and police union. Why can't I remember what the fuck to say?
More to the story involving Commander Pulliam. In April, his wife, Captain Rachel Pulliam, was transferred by Chief Pamela Smith from the Youth Division to Midnights in the 7th District. Subsequently, according to 3 sources familiar with the incident and the timing of it all, Executive Assistant Chief Andre Wright ordered Commander Pulliam to pack up his wife's belongings from Youth Division and move them on his own to his wife's new assignment in the 7th District. Sources familiar with the complaint say Commander Pulliam viewed the order as retaliation. 5 law enforcement sources tell News 4 about a week later, Commander Pulliam's police powers were revoked. Now, Chief Smith declined an on-camera interview, but tells News 4 she cannot comment on an ongoing investigation. And as for the claims made by the union, Chief Smith released this statement. It says, the Metropolitan Police Department is committed to upholding the trust and the confidence of the public. Any irregularity in crime data brought to my attention will be addressed immediately. I do not condone any official reclassifying criminal offenses outside the guidelines set in the MPD policy.
Whether or not it was the white guy that did it, but the police union chief said the staff. And who would know better than the union chief? Because guess who police officers talk to? Guess who talks to police officers? They're union reps. They have a complaint, they go there. And they must have all been doing it. Because when you say crime stats drop for 28, yeah, that did make sense. Violent crimes dropped 28% in the city. And officers are handcuffed, lowering the crimes. Not lowering the crimes, lowering the classifications. I don't know. Do we need a higher police presence? Yes, we do. I believe so. If they're actually doing their jobs and not being handcuffed because they don't want to offend somebody. You break the law, you break the law. Like if I broke the fucking law, put me in handcuffs. I'm not going to fight you. Well, other than that last time, that had nothing to do with that. That wasn't me. And it's on doorbell cam. Why did I pick this?
You firsthand here in downtown DC.
So this reporter works for ABC. She's going to tell you about how the crime has gone down in DC.
Where we work, right here around our bureau. Just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. 1 person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped, walking just 2 blocks down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen. It's happened to a lot of people in our building, sadly. He was homeless and half-dressed, clearly wasn't in his clear mind. It was scary as hell, I'm not going to lie, but I fought back. I didn't see any weapons in his hands. I felt like it was my only choice. The president did mention that this effort is also going to help clean up homelessness. As we know, many members of the homeless community, sadly, take it upon themselves, like what happened to me, to carry out violence.
It's an ABC reporter. Definitely biased. Because most politicians aren't politicians. Most reporters are, newscasters are. You'd think she'd be like, oh, no. Pay to see what? You have to remind me, because if it's 30 seconds, I'll forget. I forgot what I was going to say. Thanks, Smashley. Thank you.
And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed.
I was originally going to do this whole press conference yesterday, but that shit was well over like an hour and a half. I'm like, fuck that.
And squalor and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back.
In a fiery press conference, President Trump announced a takeover of D.C.'s local police force as violent crime on the streets of Washington appears to be spiraling out of control. But is this move by the White House legal? Here's what you need to know about Trump's historic crackdown. Passed in 1973, the Federal Home Rule Act granted the District of Columbia self-governance. However, Section 740 of the law allows the president to assert emergency control over the Metropolitan Police Department, or MPD,
My daughter has
for 30 days. Congress can pass a joint resolution extending the authority. Trump also announced plans for the National Guard to be deployed. The president has direct control over DC's National Guard, unlike every other unit, which is under the authority of each state's governor. In response to the announced takeover, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser seized the moment to advocate for full statehood for the district, calling their democracy tenuous. She said the Home Rule Act intrudes on their autonomy in many ways.
We are American citizens. Our families go to war. We pay taxes and we uphold the responsibilities of citizenship.
You know,
and while this
I kind of see a little bit, maybe this may be just the way I think, cleaning up DC and making it like police presence, full military or full police presence, which in our state, country's capital would make sense. But it also makes sense because there's so many dignitaries and emissaries that work out of DC, politicians in DC, and whenever foreign delegations come to visit with the president, it's in DC. When they come to visit with the vice president, it's DC. And when you have crimes like this happening in all parts of DC, would you want them to be safer? Could you imagine an international incident? Why did I get into the cops? Well, my daughter, I don't know what she did. I pretty much told her, get the fuck out of my house. She was 20 at this point. She thought she was grown. Well, she went and cried to her boyfriend. Her boyfriend called the cops on me because saying that I was being abusive, verbally abusive, because So they came. First one came to my door, and he was, what did he say? He says, your daughter home? Like, no. He's like, well, I'm here so she can pick up her stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Well, she's not home. He's like, well, I'm going to wait here. That's great. Get the fuck off my porch and go wait in your car. And then he goes in his car, pulls up another one, and then my daughter and her boyfriend pull up. So I go outside. The boyfriend's mouthing off. So I went to step down on my porch. The cop jumped in front of me, and I'm like, listen, dude, don't put your hands on me. I will defend myself. So I went to sidestep him, put his hands on me, and then instinct kicked in, and I fucking leg toss. Luckily for me, the other cop was a buddy of mine from Ranger Regiment. And they just took it as an episode, a PTSD episode. Man, I should have gotten my ass kicked. But when I'm upset, I don't see anything other than a target. And the way this dude was talking shit, not the cop, her faggot ass boyfriend, tried to teach him a lesson. And that was all on my wife's birthday. So my wife pretty much doesn't like her birthday after that. And this was a couple years ago. And then every once in a while, I'll bring it up. Like, when she's like, I love you, Dad. I'm like, no, obviously I don't. You called the fucking cops on me. And I keep using it. And she keeps running back with that door cam video. And she likes to show it to her friends. Yeah. It was good. It was good. Kate, leg toss turned into a fucking, how do you say this? We rolled. We rolled.
Action today is unsettling and unprecedented. I can't say that given.
Oh, just a couple months ago, she was saying she welcomes Donald Trump's help in securing the city. And now, yeah, I was still kind of fresh out of the Army, and I had that warrior mentality. But yeah, now that we look back and I joke about it all the time. That's why I would literally tell her, what are you going to do? Call the cops on me? You did it before. Oh, speaking of my daughter, I will be 44, and I will be, let's say this, 8 months. In 8 months, Can y'all guess? I'm talking about my daughter here, the one that's married. And I just said 8 months. Can y'all guess? Can y'all guess? I'll be a 44-year-old grandfather. Holy shit! It's great, isn't it? And no, me being me. Hey, Dad, I'm pregnant. Cool. What do you want me to do about it? And inside, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Some of the rhetoric of the past that we're totally surprised.
Mayor Bowser admitted that
she already told everybody else, so I'm
post-COVID
assuming it's
crime
okay for me to say
spiking in 2023, but claimed the city reversed it. Recently, she imposed curfews in some neighborhoods to keep teens off the street as early as 7 p.m. and reported a 30-year crime low. It's a stark contrast to the grim picture painted by Trump, who told reporters that the city has been overtaken by gangs and bloodthirsty criminals and roving mobs of wild youth who are riding unauthorized ATVs and motorbikes down the streets, which are littered with, quote,
yes, ma'am,
drugged-out maniacs and homeless people. This comes amid a series of high-profile crime stories in Washington. As recently as August 3rd, a former DOJ staffer, Edward Korstein, age 19, was attacked during an alleged attempted carjacking. On June 30th, congressional intern Eric Tarpinian Joachim, age 21, was killed in a drive-by shooting.
See, these are things that have been happening. I've heard about them, but nationwide media has been keeping these quiet. And you know why? You know why? They don't want you to know that the crime stats haven't changed. Now, it makes me wonder when Chicago says violent crime has gone down, which for some reason I find it hard to believe. Who's not to say other big cities like this saying our crime has gone down? Right? They just give them a lesser charge. Happens. It happens. Now I'm seeing it probably happens 90% of the time.
Back in 2023, Texas Democratic Rep. Henry Queller was also involved in a carjacking. That same year, an aide to Republican Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky was stabbed. As tensions built...
Wait, a senator was carjacked? I remember the stabbing, though. I remember that one.
President Trump also threatened to flex his federal might on New York City and name-check Chicago and Los Angeles as well. Although it remains to be seen how the Empire State, Illinois, and California would respond to such drastic and potentially unconstitutional measures.
That is... Oh, that just ruined it. I don't like the fact that he's trying to push those other cities into the same footprint, I guess, same blueprint. Putting federalized officers in big cities, National Guard in big cities, when there's no riot. No active riot, no massive, crime sprees. I mean, there are crime sprees, but not to the extent to where you're going to need the National Guard. They're there for a reason, and that's not the reason. Why don't you hire more cops? Why don't you start enforcing the law? Because you enforce the law, a lot more people, it's like, oh shit, we're going to get more than a slap on the wrist? They're going to castrate us? Oh, I'll act better now. And you think, well, we're deporting all these motherfuckers. There's more room in the prison, right? Now we're heading over the pond, again, to England. And, wow. So they're saying this lady, she's interviewing these, I'm so glad. Smashley, we got your blue hair. Purple hair. She's interviewing these protesters and the title says protecting rapists, and you're going to see why. It's just not an issue here. It's also an issue there. And just like here, we have those bleeding hearts that think, well, they're just misunderstood. Misunderstood. Yeah, oh, goddamn. There you go, Smashley.
Guys are always the white people protesting for other people's rights. If racism was such a serious issue, we would see them out here, don't you think? In their country, someone who's queer or trans will actually be hung. How do you feel that that's their mentality and you're defending them?
I was told that with my flag I couldn't be near the Novotel in case it affects their business.
Racism did you guys hear from the opposing side, which is the right?
I mean, to be fair, we didn't really hear them specifically now. We didn't hear them say anything.
How come they don't go to their neighboring countries? Like, how are they making a journey so far up to Europe? Do you have that?
The British flag, if you speak of that, it has got the most powerful symbol in the world on it, which is the cross. And this agenda is very much anti-Christian.
Here's the hotel, guys. It's been barricaded because the migrants are more important. So you're here standing up against racism.
Yes.
So would you say the people with the Union Jacks are racist?
I'd say that there is a system in place which encourages this kind of them and us mentality. It may be that they are racist, it might be that they're not, and that they are genuinely affected by some of the things that they do try to talk about. And one of the things that we do find in the modern day is that we're losing a lot of the nuance in these things. But we're here just standing up against the people who are trying to do harm to, people who are refugees, people who are LGBTQ, etc.
You're standing up there for those people, wait a second, that want to do harm. That want to do harm. Not the children. Not the children.
Do you know why the protest initially started, 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, sorry.
Yes, so there is one person who has been arrested for sexual violence against a minor.
Oh.
Was he a immigrant or refugee or just an average person?
He was one of the refugees who was staying at one of the places up near Epping, I believe. However, that does not paint all refugees as criminals.
Did you hear them say all refugees?
Who?
The people on the opposing side.
I haven't heard very much.
That's true.
So do you feel like it's justifiable to protest against the person?
It's a lot lately, not within just TV, but other things. People say all of them. All of them. Just like people think all immigrants are illegal. It just happens that the immigrants that are here illegally are called immigrants. I don't know what just happened in my mind. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on right now. Yo, and in case y'all didn't know, pretty sure this is a guy. 100% sure this is a guy because got a lot of manly features. But the boobs are probably his. No boob job, but they're probably his.
To that little child, or do you think it's wrong for them to do that?
I feel that painting an entire group as bad because of the actions of one person would have them all turning against each other instantly.
Yeah. Just one question though, because I did interview people on the other side, and they also felt like you guys are kind of demonizing them to be neo-Nazi racist. So what you just said about calling everyone else, calling all refugees racist, they also feel as though you are calling every single person who just wants to preserve their safety in the UK as neo-Nazis, when really they just want the safety of children.
All this shit made sense in my head earlier when I started watching it before I smoked. God damn it.
Is that a fair argument, would you say?
I think that if you look at the history of every single movement that has used children,
why does he keep doing that
has
faggot
used
with his hand?
protection of women and children as the ideological driving point, you will see that they've actually done more harm to women and children than anything else.
So protecting men or women and children has been a focus, yes. But it's doing more harm to women and children. You know what's doing a lot of harm to women and children? People like him.
What are you saying? What is he saying?
In what way?
So
look this up in Pearson too.
At, everything except for the seatbelt introduction, there have been minority groups who have been adversely affected by this being applied unequally.
Oh.
I do have a lot of reading material. I can give you if you wish.
Just one last question. How do you feel that a lot of the refugees that you are defending right now actually don't believe in LGBTQ and trans and queer, and actually in their country, someone who's queer or trans will actually be hung? How do you feel that that's their mentality and you're defending them?
As a queer trans person, I think both bad, but that doesn't mean that their rights should be taken away. We need to be very aware of it's all.
You know how they say MAGA will do whatever Trump, or agree with whatever Trump does, no matter what is good or bad. There's a good example. Oh, they hate us, but it's okay. It's okay. They still deserve rights because they don't like us. They don't believe in us. They'll kill us. But they also like to rape kids. But they're migrants, guys. Okay. We must forgive all of that.
System of exploitation and oppression.
Man, shut your
Social justice warrior bullshit.
And we are all subject to this. Every single one of us.
But if you was to be in, say, for example, Syria or Libya, you would be oppressed.
You'd be dead.
Do you think that maybe the English is justifiable for them to protest against people coming in who may be against people like yourself who are queer and LGBTQ? Do you think that's justifiable?
I think that England has had a long history of welcoming very diverse groups. No worries. A long history of welcoming very.
Wait, isn't that why the settlers left England? Apparently they weren't too welcoming.
Diverse groups. That we are the great melting pot. And that, yes, if I were to go over there, I may well be subject to discrimination and hanging, etc., etc. However...
Or, hear me out, thrown off a building.
Over here, that doesn't mean that we should do that to them.
What's love?
So, theoretically, if one of these major cities was elected a Islamist who believed in Sharia law and got them to vote to allow Sharia law in their cities, what would the gay people say? Would they still support? It's possible that it could happen. You never know. New York City.
Okay. So basically you're here with your Stop the Far Right sign, and you're basically standing up against racism. So do you believe that people are...
I agree, stop the far right. Because they're just the same as the far left, so it's weird.
Across the street holding the English flag are racist?
Yes. Sure, yes, I do. I think the England they're standing for is not what England should stand for.
Sorry if you stand back.
Yeah. What does England stand for?
So what exactly did they say that was racist that you would deem?
Well, my flatmate heard last night the peace slur thrown around a lot just on the street. They hurl abuse at specifically POC people. I think actions like that in itself.
Yo, why the fuck do they say POC people? That's just so stupid. Just say people of color. Or colored people. Colored people.
Are racist.
What type of abuse did they have?
So there were a few.
You could do so.
Were a few delivery drivers that they tried to physically attack before the police stopped them, who were coming into the hotel and coming out of the hotel. They called people lots of names. They called me a cunt in my own flat. They hurl abuse at multiple people.
Maybe they're right.
Called me a cunt in my own flat. People, lots of names. They called me a cunt in my own flat. They hurl lots of names. They called me a cunt in my own flat. They hurl abuse at multiple people who try and say they think their opinion's wrong in any sort of way. And the fact that they're here today, I think, is just racist in itself.
From my understanding, this protest initially started because a migrant actually tried to assault a child in Epping. So do you think they have a right to protest for children and the protection of children?
I think protesting for children's safety as itself is a justifiable reason, but I think this goes beyond it. Children's safety as a whole should be protected. Women's safety as a whole should be protected. But if you look at other numbers,
nah. If you ever say something, yeah, women and children deserve to be protected, but you say but, no. God damn, she looks like a fucking swamp donkey. Ugh. The guy literally tried to rape a child. A child. But it's okay because they don't want everybody to think they're racist. They're not protesting because he's brown.
POC women, POC children, they are also attacked on a higher scale. And just because one person from a certain group attacks someone does not mean everyone in that group is going to attack someone.
What about the argument that immigration is making the country very, very difficult to live in? Because obviously this country is already packed and we're all struggling financially. So to keep importing people in the millions, don't you think that's a fair argument that they should try to balance out the number of people coming in rather than allowing millions to come in?
Balancing, I suppose, could be taken into account, but this country is built on immigration.
That's wild. Because it happened to us, it's happening to them, and it's happening to Europe. It's funny. Why is the southern hemisphere all moving up north? What's going on? Are they trying to tip the earth off its axis?
Built on the Windrush generation who came in after World War II. If you go to Brick Lane is built on the Bangladeshi community. It is built on their community that thrived in Brick Lane. The UK would be nothing without immigration.
But the thing is that yes, migrants helped build it, but the foundation is actually British English culture. So don't you think the English have a right to want to preserve that and not want to see it eradicated? For example, where I'm from Congo, and we're having a huge influx of Chinese people coming in, trying to change the culture, trying to change the language. And we don't want that. We want to preserve our Congolese culture. Shouldn't the English also want to preserve their English language, culture, traditions?
Well, I think historically that's not 100% correct. Unless you can prove you were here before the Romans, before the Anglo-Saxons, before the Vikings, then you are Germanic, you are Roman, you are Nordic. You come from that culture. That culture made English culture. It's an amalgamation of Germanic culture, Nordic culture, Roman culture, which made English culture, but it's still an amalgamation of all different ones.
Oh my God, just shut up, please, just shut up already. Like, how am I literally hearing people say this every time? Like, genuinely, at first it was funny, but now it's becoming cringe now, it's becoming too cringe.
So I think English culture has always been about immigration and will always be about immigration. So I think it's about helping people who come from war-torn countries to assimilate into the UK, to get education, to get healthcare, to get housing, to be able to give back to the place that they've come instead of being put in hotels and abused by public.
And just another, why do you think the migrants don't go to their neighbouring countries? For example, if I was escaping a war-torn country, I might go Scotland or Ireland because it's close by, but they make such harsh journeys through, you know, the ocean all the way to the UK. How is that possible that they're making those harsh journeys in the millions and surviving? And why aren't they going to their neighbouring countries like Dubai and Qatar and Kuwait?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons that people have left, and a lot of these countries neighbouring them may have a problem that they've left. So if someone's left because they're LGBTQ, they can't go to Dubai because it's still technically illegal there. And I think the UK has essentially quite good PR.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So I think we're seen as almost a utopia compared to a war-torn country. I mean, we're not. We have a lot of problems. But I think compared to what they're going through, they see the UK as an escape. And I think it's perpetuated because people keep coming here. And I think it's almost like, oh, if you want to escape, you should go to the UK because they do.
Folks, bro, that was so dumb. My fucking brain hurts. My eyes are like, what the fuck did you just make me watch? Oh, man. There's no way I could have made it through that bitch again. Woo! Now, what would you say if in New York City they were building housing and shelters for, let's say, not illegal immigrants, but for Americans? And let's just say that it costs $65 million for this shelter to house these Americans. You would think they'd be, you know, homeless, children, you know, things like that. No, this $65 million shelter in New York City is for LGBTQ. Oh. Oh.
Pay attention to this. Only in New York City and California to come up with ideas like this. New York City wants to spend $65 million on homeless shelter for transgender people. Do you hear what I just said? $65 million just for transgender people, as if there's like so many of them. Overnight, apparently there's like a massive increase of people that are transgender. So New York City opens Aces Place Homeless Shelter in Long Island City, the nation's first city-funded shelter exclusively for transgender identifying individuals, costing taxpayers $65 million over 5 years to provide 150 beds. That's it. You ready for this? Equating to $87,000 per bed annually through 2030. Sean Ebony Coleman, CEO of Destination Tomorrow, Bronx-based LGBTQ center running the facility, said the shelter is named after his mother, whose nickname was Ace. Department of Social Services Commissioner Molly Wasov said Ace's Place will offer transgender New Yorkers a safe place to heal and stabilize in trauma-informed settings with the supportive staff who are deeply invested in their growth and well-being, Park told everybody else. And then the shelter operation Destination Tomorrow includes a full-time psychiatric nurse, social workers, and holistic mental wellness programs like yoga, meditation, with plans for culinary programs offering hands-on kitchen experiences. I would not be eating that food. But when you read a story like this, okay, with what's going on in New York City, and you wonder why people are leaving New York City, because they're sitting there saying, my taxpayer money is going to this? Yes. So all this tax I pay in New York, you're spending it for this? Yes. Now imagine if Mamdani wins New York. If Mamdani wins, And the 123 billionaires, say half of them leave. Say 60 of the 123 billionaires leave. And they go to where? Palm Beach, Miami, Manalapan, Lantana, someplace, Brentwood, Tennessee. They pick a place to go anywhere but New York. They go. This is the most important question you got to ask yourself. You ready? This is by far the most important question you got to ask yourself. Rob, can you play the clip of Elizabeth Warren? This is by far the most important question New Yorkers got to ask themselves. Just go to my X account, and you'll see it, Rob, all the way. It's like 5 clips down. There's a clip of Elizabeth Warren with CNBC. They're having a conversation, and she gets challenged on the billionaire stuff. And watch what she says about billionaires. And, Rob, you can probably fast forward the stuff that he's saying at the beginning. Go until she comes up. Okay, right there. Start it from the moment she starts talking. Go back a little bit and start it from right there. Go ahead.
And doing that by raising the most revenue as possible without chasing businesses and the high-income taxpayers out of the city, because they can go to Austin, they can go to Dallas, they can go to Atlanta, they can go to Nashville. This is your issue. It's a national issue, not a local issue.
The issue is affordability.
Watch
Do you know
this.
how many working families
Folks,
are chased out of New York
this
City
is the most
every day
important thing.
because
Listen.
they can't afford housing, they
Yep.
can't afford groceries,
Yep.
they can't afford child
And it's the
care.
billionaires' fault.
What Zoran is saying is,
Yeah.
I want people to be
Now
able
that
to
they
afford
can't
to live.
afford groceries, or there's just nowhere for them to buy groceries because they're getting robbed and they're shutting down.
Live in New
Right.
York City. That's what keeps it a vibrant
Right.
city. That's what makes people want to live
Nobody
here.
disagrees
Watch
with that,
her
Senator,
reaction.
but raising taxes in order to do it?
Oh,
Why
my
is that
goodness.
the answer?
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
No, I'm worried that they're going to leave and spend their money elsewhere.
You know, they've threatened to do that over and over
And
and
they
over.
have done that.
Oh, and they have been.
But
I mean,
here's the thing.
And
You-
Goldman Sachs, when they create new jobs, they do it in Dallas.
you
And
wanna
Blackstone
have-
won't build a new headquarters.
You
And go
wanna
on and
have-
on.
You want to have a workable city. You want to have a
Watch
city
this.
that's vibrant. You want to have a city where the streets are full, where there are things for sale 24 hours a day. Then you need people who can live here and work
Well, we
here.
got that right now,
Not
by the
people
way.
who
I
have
would
to
point
take
out
an
New
hour
York
and a
is
half
New York
in.
is thriving. So right
Well,
now it's doing
people-
pretty well, actually.
I'm glad you think they're doing well because a lot of people are struggling to pay for housing.
You can
a lot
pause that
of
right
people
there,
are
Rob.
struggling to pay
So
for
check this out,
groceries.
folks. Here's the question you got to ask yourself. Vinny, I'm going to ask you this as well. I know you're a math guy, so I'm going to come to you probably for
Let
this.
me get my pen ready.
So check this out. Check this out. Do you think if these 60 billionaires leave, Rob, can you put a number
That
and
place is gonna
ask
go
Grok
even
or ChatGPT
further down the spiral.
if half of the 123 billionaires of New York City leave and move to Florida, how much tax revenue will New York City lose?
Quite a bit.
Okay? How much tax revenue will New York City lose? And I don't even know if that's the number, because if the 123 billionaires leave, imagine how many people worth 100 million will leave, and imagine how many decamillionaires will leave. Look at that. The 123 billionaires in New York are estimated net worth $759 billion. The top 1% of New York City pays 48% of city's taxes. Up from 40%. Used to be 40 in 2019, is now 48%. That's a 20% increase in 2 years. Okay? If they leave, from 2017 to 2022, they lost $13.8 billion in adjusted gross income due to residents moving to Florida. From 2021, state lost $6 billion in AGI, over 60,000 residents moving. Goldman Sachs estimated that similar out-immigration has led to a 3% drop in tax revenue in the city. But we're not even talking about that time. We're talking about now. Given New York City's extensive budget, even a 1 to 2% drop-off could equal 700 over even a few $billion. Here's a question I got to everybody in New York City that's excited about Mamdani. All the socialists, all the Democrats,
Mamdani's a
all the
fucking
liberals. You ready?
rich guy.
Say the billionaires
A
leave.
rich family.
Say they leave. Say you lose billions of dollars of tax revenue. Do you think the government's going to adjust the expenditure they have in the city because they lost all that tax revenue? Hell no.
No.
They're not lowering any of the expenditure. Guess what they're doing with all that spending? They're still spending. But guess who's paying for it? You. Low, middle-income families. You know why? Because now jobs are not there. And now your city's spending $65 million of your money on 150 transgenders.
Jeez.
Let me say this one more time. The city's spending $65 million of taxpayer city on only 150 transgenders. That's the amount of beds that they're creating. $87,000.
I wonder how many
per
homeless
bed
New York
is what
City
they're
has.
spending. So the reality of it is, you guys can get excited about this. You guys can get excited about all this stuff.
Hey, Alexa, how many homeless are there in New York City?
As of July 2025, over 350,000 people were homeless in New York City. This includes those in shelters and on the streets, with about 4,500 sleeping outdoors. Would you like to know about homelessness initiatives in New York City?
No.
All right, goodbye.
Imagine what $65 million. $65 million could do to the 350,000 homeless in New York City. $350,000 versus 150.
These people, when they leave, which they will, many of them did, it costs $14 billion of adjusted gross income. Meanwhile, taxes went up on the top 1%, 20% from 40% to 48%. You don't think there's other places that are, you don't think Florida's going to be knocking on the door saying, hey guys, we're more than happy to have you in Palm Beach.
Chicago's raising their taxes as well.
You don't think they're talking to Ken Griffin? You don't think they're talking to all the other people? How do you like Florida? How do you like Florida? How do you like Florida? How do you like Florida?
I think
they're saying,
as much as Brandon Johnson talks about how great Chicago's doing, pretty sure they're in $1 billion deficit.
I freaking love Florida. Really? Yeah, what do you love about? I love Florida. I love Florida. I love Florida. I love Tennessee. I love Texas. You're losing them. And the Goldman Sachs headquarters that they're building in Dallas is going to be a monstrosity. And they're slowly moving everybody out of New York.
Huge.
Slowly. Adam, thoughts?
Well, people think that whatever has worked in the past, as far as what has made America great, New York City, LA, as examples, are always going to be the greatest cities in America. What we've seen since COVID and what we'll continue to see as socialism and wokeism take place in certain of these cities is they won't be great forever. You know, Trump says, make America great again. Those cities are going to basically use those catchphrases in the next 5, 10, 20 years because those cities are crumbling. Everyone I talk to in LA, it's like, LA just ain't it anymore, dude. I'm moving out of New York City. How much tax revenue left during COVID? I think $20 billion. That will continue to happen. Here's what I've learned. When I don't know how much we're able to talk about it, but when you were debating those socialists and communists in LA over the weekend,
a lot of them were openly saying I'm a communist.
Openly. Yeah. Here's what I've learned. They're not idiots. They're not stupid. They're actually very smart, but their energy is funneled into the wrong ideas. And when you have very smart people focused on very dumb things, very bad things will happen. Here's what I realized.
Yeah, it's called the army.
Socialism stuff, the free stuff. It's just basically a sugar high. It's having dessert for dinner. It's great. I want to eat. But what's going to happen is your stomach's going to feel bad. Your teeth are going to decay. And basically you're going to have to live in a dentist's office. Capitalism is the exact opposite. It's eating healthy. It's being disciplined. It's eating your vegetables. It sucks now. But damn, a couple months, year down the road, you're going to be looking great. You have a six-pack. The reality is the sugar high people are winning, and the capitalists are basically going to move out of town. In New York City, the trans people are the good guys, and the billionaires are the bad guys. Grapple with that.
And illegals and rapists are the good guys.
Worked in the history
no,
of
they
New
just
York
haven't
City.
done it right, Vinny.
Oh, that's what it is.
They
And
just
mind
haven't
you-
killed enough people that get it done.
And just really quick, be honest, what did California look like when we were there? Just the area where we shot. Be honest. What did
by the way, that was not a safe place where we shot the whole thing.
Not at all. Downtown LA, because we were on the bus. Rob, you saw it. The shade opened. I looked outside and I was like, there's
homeless people, crackhead, homeless.
And by the way,
Boom.
somebody. There was a Mexican family selling they had a food stand. There's just a homeless guy laying there in his underwear, and they're acting as if he's not even there, like it's normal. I'm telling you, New York, as bad as it is now, wait. Yeah. Just wait, and it's going to be all your fault because you're like a guy that smiles and wants to give you free shit.
You're missing one major component.
What?
The weather, bro.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Let me
get to this next story. The Gentleman's Series, VT merch. Let me tell you, the ties that you ask for, black ties. This is 100%.
I don't know why people seem to think taxing the rich people in their own cities or their own state even more is going to be beneficial to them. It's not. All these companies are leaving New York City for the South. Crazy. And a good thing, well, bad thing is, if they're moving these companies, they're moving... No, because they're going to stay in New York. They're going to stay in Los Angeles. Because they're going to be afraid to go anywhere else because they might get offended, hated on. Don't know where I'm going with this because I'm trying to watch 3 different things at once. No, focus. Focus. And it's shady they kept mentioning Los Angeles, New York City, and Chicago. And then all this money that supposedly we're supposed to come saving, ending SNAP benefits for, non-essentials. These illegals are getting out of these big cities. Well, some of them. Los Angeles is losing them. So there's more space. That's less money that they have to invest into an illegal immigrant. Less space. Where are they going to reinvest this money into? You've already proven we can give it to illegals to the tunes of millions and billions. Why can't we spend that money, again, on Americans? Makes no sense to me. And I also think that if you're in prison, you should be required to do labor. Manual labor. Just saying. Go back to fucking punching license plates. Alright. Last one. So we're going to watch Hodge twins, and they're reacting to a police body cam footage of a high school student. Don't worry, the high school student's 18. And, well, I feel like she made it so much worse when it would have just been, I don't know, maybe a dress code violation or having tobacco or, I don't know, the 20 grams of weed in school. Bro.
Let's go.
That's not even the worst part of it.
And you can come back and do whatever you have to do.
So what am I going down here for?
They're going to tell you. Thank you. It's a great decision.
What am I going down here for?
That's a great decision.
Oops,
sorry.
She had already made being loud and obnoxious disrupting the class. So this is when the SRO came.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm not. You keep with me. What am I going down here for? For what? For what? Okay, for what?
I fucking hate for what?
You do have
we will talk about it with you.
Okay, for what?
Let's go. Let's go.
Talk to me later.
Oh.
Off me, Coco. I don't give a you know that.
All right. Well,
okay.
Come on, let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's just go.
For what?
Where are you trying to get to?
For what? For what? What am I going for?
They're going to tell you.
For what, Porter? For what? Since you want to whisper in your headphones, what? What am I going down here for? What am I going down here for? Huh? What am I going to the office for?
Why are you getting his face?
Because he called me every day. He just did this yesterday. Yes. He's a bitch. Yes, he's a bitch. Yeah. Yes, he is. You are too, bitch. You are too, bitch. All y'all some bitches. Okay, I'm going. I'm going.
I'm going.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, what y'all finna do?
Well.
Get off getting arrested. Did you do that?
I don't remember lockers being in the cafeteria.
Okay. Okay.
No, because they were in the fucking
We
hallway.
appreciate you complying. Thank you. Okay. Oh, man, that hurts me. That hurts me so much. Oh, man. That hurts my feelings. Man.
She already knows where to go.
You're right.
Want to fuck me every day. Every day. Just got to school. Just got dropped out.
Stop slapping your leg.
He already, as soon as he seen me, start whispering the motherfucking headphones. Okay. You're not mad. I am. So you don't feel how I feel.
Okay, we'll come talk about it.
Okay. Hello. Okay, as soon as I get to school, the man's sitting around. Here you go. Going off. I'm like, I'm going to take my picture. He's like, no, you're not doing.
What's up with all that damn leg smacking? She's trying to be
Not to mention that, but the way she's dressed at school, high school, bro, I don't know how. I assume she would have gotten dress coded. Because, bro, my kids will get dress coded for, how do I say this? Doesn't make it sound bad. Skirt that's too short by like maybe an inch. A fucking pair of jeans that has holes in the knee. Can't have those. Some crazy shit. Can't show your belly, obviously.
But it's not working. The white man is too stoic. Yeah, got a new show for y'all. Got a damn good show, man. Yeah, I think that's inappropriate for school. School. Well, look at that. Yeah. When we went to school, if your shorts are too short, it was inappropriate. And if you were showing off your belly button, that was inappropriate. Yeah. Well, by today's standards, probably okay. I guess, but
it's not here or any of the schools my kids went to.
He called the police, everybody, because I'm trying to go in the office and take my picture. I'm like, you talking about go to the office? I'm like, for what? He like, I can't tell you. We don't have to give you a reason. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take my picture. Like, what? And they mad. Like, they got me in the office now for what? For what? I still don't have a reason. Why am I here?
If you let us talk, we'll tell you.
I'm going to take my pictures? For what? Okay, why?
You want to talk?
No, I've been wanting to talk to you in the hallway.
Go in that room and we'll tell you why.
No. So we just sing the silence. Can I go take my pictures? Y'all just stay here.
You're not taking your pictures.
She acts like nothing's gonna happen. She can get away with anything.
Do you want to search your back? She smells.
Yeah, can my mama talk to one of y'all?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do that. Hello.
We can't hear her. I can't hear her. What?
She said she want to talk to one of y'all.
Okay, we'll call her from the office because I can't hear her at all.
How can you not hear her? I can hear her.
I can't hear her.
You can hear her
at
perfectly.
all.
It's on speaker.
I can't. So she wants.
So you don't hear her saying, "Hi, sir. How are you?" I hear her perfectly fine.
Turn up the volume.
Stop lying.
Turn up the volume.
Talk. You hear her.
See, the way she's jumping at a cop.
You need to relax. And you need
She said, "Hello. How are you?"
You need to get out of my face, because I'm not playing. You need to back up. I'm going to give you one other option, and then I'm going to have to be forced to do something because you want to get in my face.
Do you not hear my mama talking to you or no?
I will call her from an office phone.
For what? She on the phone already.
That's okay. I will call her from an office phone. I'll let her know what's going on.
All right, what's going on? Let me know.
We'll talk to her in there.
Okay, tell me what's going on. Why am I here? Why?
Go in that office and we will tell you what's going on.
No, y'all just want to mess with me every day. Y'all just
no.
She thinks she's in control of the situation.
Don't touch him.
Oh shit!
Snapchat, is she? Okay, now you're done. Now you're done. Listen, don't do that.
Bro, get off of me, okay? Get off of me, bro.
Don't do that.
Okay, don't do that. Get off of me.
Oh.
I don't give a fuck. Get off of me.
Oh.
Bro, get off of me. You get your hands off of me, bro. Yes. Bro, get off of me. Okay, I'm stopping. Stop touching me, bro.
Seems like you're resisting. You already put your hand on a school official.
Stop resisting now.
Get off of me.
No, you're done. You're done. You put your hands on administrator. You are done.
Don't pull her hair out.
Bro, Coco, cut it down.
Oh, that good action.
I'm not fucking resisting. Get the fuck off of me, bro.
Okay.
You fucking pushing me and shit. I'm not resisting. I'm sitting on a fucking day.
You're making it worse.
Bro, if I was resisting, I would be beating your ass right now. Get the fuck off of me.
Get off the table now. I'm done.
You just put me on the table, bitch.
I'm done with you.
Bro, get off of me. But I don't care. Call who you gotta call. I was on the phone with my mama.
You send it back.
This cop's so afraid to get in trouble.
Bro, do that.
Fighting.
Do that.
All right.
Do that.
You need to calm down.
I am calm.
All right.
I was calm.
I'm done.
I was calm.
Now,
Be done. Be done. I don't care. What's up? The fuck You want to put your hands on me? Now you want to press charges, bro. Get off of me. Okay, be done. I don't care.
Put your hands
Move,
behind
Coco.
your back.
I don't
Put your hands behind your back.
Get
Put your
off
hands
of me,
behind your
bro.
back. Okay, hey, don't. This is what happened.
Right, let it happen. Let me sit down, bro. Stop.
Just turn around.
Down.
Here, just turn
Can
around.
I breathe?
In the dean's office right
Yeah.
now.
It's because you're exerting yourself.
Here. What's your issue? Can I pick up?
Give me your hands.
Can I pick
Give
up
me.
my
Yeah, I'll grab it for you. Give me your hands.
Coco? Here you go. Open me, bro.
You got your right. There we go. Come on. Take it.
Can you get off of me, please? Let me breathe.
You're not following directions.
Get off of me, bro. Let me breathe. Yo, let me fucking breathe, bro. Get the fuck off of me, Coco. I don't give a fuck, bro. Tase me. Get the fuck off of me.
Enough.
Who the fuck do you think you is?
Stop.
Get off of me, bro. Move.
Enough.
Let me breathe. Okay, let me breathe real quick. Get the fuck off of me.
No.
Let me breathe.
I would have thought the same thing, Carmen. But we obviously know there's probably no dad in the picture. But the mom is completely not what I expected.
All right. Listen. I'm trying to help you, but you don't want to do it. You put your hands on administrator, I'm done. And now you're going to be taken into custody.
Yep.
So all you got to do is relax.
Yep.
You got too much.
Yep.
So you can either do this.
Get out my face.
I'm not moving.
All right, well, I'm coming on.
You're not going to call your mom.
Why?
Because you're done.
Okay, I'm calling my mama.
Stop.
Bro, Coco, you're not even stronger than me, bitch. You pussy as fuck. You're a pussy.
Trying not to
You're a
hurt you.
pussy. You're a pussy.
Okay.
You're a pussy.
Okay.
You're a pussy. Get the fuck off of me, bro. You're not stronger than me, bitch. Obviously.
Well,
Pussy as fuck. He pussy as fuck.
Yep.
You destroy all the stuff. Get the fuck off me.
You're not following directions.
Okay.
Calm down. Come on. Lotion all over her.
I feel like the cop is apprehensive because he doesn't want to seem racist.
Wow.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
Come on. There you go. 1 kilo 52. I have one in custody.
I have one custody.
Go take
Got
a
one
seat.
subsahara in custody.
Take a seat now. I'm not
Ooh,
asking
Coco,
you.
but
Enough. Take a seat and
Oh.
stop resisting.
So resisting and looks like battery on a Leo.
Hold up. Come on. Just sit down. Just sit. Relax.
I can't, bitch. Obviously.
Hey, Twix.
Got some Twix going. Uh-oh. Got some wacky weed now, though.
You feel that?
Feel
it shaking here. You feel okay, don't you?
They can smell
Okay,
it.
Okay, let's go to my office, please. And you can either use.
Okay, I can walk.
All right, let's go.
No, touch me.
Well, too bad. I'm Dean. I'm escorting
Okay.
you. I'm escorting you.
She still thinks she's in charge.
Yeah, he better move because he know how to get, boy. Yeah, all right, boy.
Okay.
Hey, okay, let me go. I can walk. Move.
No. You need to relax.
Move.
Stop
I
resisting.
don't need all to touch you. I can walk Dolo. Move, bro.
Serious.
We can't fit through the same door, dumb bitch.
Oh, relax.
Move. Damn, okay, move. Man, girl, shut up.
Sit up. We're gonna do
Oh,
this.
hello, police
I want
officer.
her handcuffs behind her.
Hello,
back.
other police officer.
Clearly, she was resisting and fighting. I couldn't get them on her back, but I had to get them on her front best way I could.
You don't have to go on. I'm not going away.
No, I don't care, but you're fighting.
I'm not.
Okay, you are. It's for his safety. So,
Yes, you are.
Okay.
you're not like a child, we're gonna treat you like a child. Okay?
Okay. Do that.
I will.
All right. Do that.
Listen, we don't want to
Y'all
have
couldn't
to.
fit through the same door, though. That's common sense.
Stand up.
Obviously, you don't got it.
Couldn't fit through the same door because you're fat.
Put it behind you.
I mean, she's not. I mean, whatever. If I was a cop, that's what I would have said.
I'm putting my arm behind my back, girl.
You're gonna attach your resisting charge if you already have it.
I
So
already
relax.
did, bitch, obviously. Because I was resisting. That's why.
Oh. Was that a resisting times 2?
I called y'all to relax. I am relaxed. Can you not move my arm? I already put it behind my back.
you can't.
I did that myself. Get the f off my neck,
Stop resisting.
Man, this girl is out insane. You can tell she ain't got no daddy in the house. Yeah. That is nuts.
That
She behaves like a
Sub-Saharan.
guy.
Wait till you see the mom.
Very
It's
smart,
not.
I don't know.
I was surprised. Mom's not white, of course.
Stop resisting.
Relax. Get off my neck, bro.
All right, she's double locked. All right, let's go and sit her down.
Go ahead, sit down. Well, you're about to get searched, so don't shove me. Okay, so you're gonna get another. Can you get your fucking hand off of me, bro? I don't need you to touch me. Who the fuck called this? Like, take her out of here. You wanna touch all on my neck and shit? What's up?
They're searching you.
I don't have nothing. What are you searching? I have choices. It's inside. Don't care.
Yo, they have a place for handcuffs on the floor in a high
That
school.
leg slapper was driving me crazy.
In the show, not you.
Yeah.
So chill out. Talk yourself into an amount of trouble that you don't even want to be in.
Yep. All right, so because you have been fighting, you're going to be put in this ground locking station. So if you want, you can chair up a little to make it more comfortable. Go ahead and sit back. All right, well, just sit there then. So you're now in custody, obviously, for battering on a school board employee, battering on a law enforcement officer, resisting with violence, and obviously the possession of marijuana and everything else that you have. So, and then obviously you guys, I think she...
You know, being in marijuana in school, can't say that none of us haven't done that. But wait till you hear how much marijuana she had. I mean, it's a little much for a day at school.
Resisted you. We can do resistant times 2 if we want, but... Hey, how are you? Good. You want to come with me? Hey, Miss Kennedy, you ready to use your office?
It's Mama.
All right, how you doing? All right, come on in.
There's Mom.
All right. So I'm Deputy
Bonnet
School
Brigade.
Resource Deputy, and Mr. Kennedy can kind of explain a little bit about what happened beforehand. If he
already did.
Okay, so he can explain to you a little bit about what happened.
But you can tell Mama definitely doesn't have that same attitude. She looks like she works hard for her daughter to have a good life.
He had some discipline that he wanted to address. She wouldn't have it. I'm sure she was using profanity, refusing to comply with his order. Started yelling, and he called me. I heard the yelling, at which point I responded. All right, she went into a classroom that was doing pictures. That was active classroom too. They were doing their computer work, and she started yelling, refusing his orders and things of that nature. At which point we tried to escort her to the dean's office. So she's gonna get charges for all that. She is 18 years old. She does not go to juvenile court. She's going to go to the branch jail. She's going to get battered on a law enforcement officer. She's going to get resisting a law enforcement officer with violence, and then she's going to get campus disruption. Okay, so that's 2 felonies and a misdemeanor. Yeah. I understand. We understand.
See, you can't always blame it on the mama because she don't seem like the kind. Oh, and she had battery on a Leo when she was 16.
All right, so let's grab all your property.
How does the daughter turn out like that when the mom seems so cultured? You know, her dad. She has no dad. Yeah, but look how her mom is. She's got a prior of assaulting an LEO at 16. Yeah, but they probably just slapped on the wrist. You saw how her mom is like behaved. Yeah, and understand what's going on. Seems like a very nice woman. Yeah.
Property. You tell me what you want.
The culture got her. The what? The culture.
Why's got a Coast Guard flag?
What she sees on YouTube, TV, the TV shows, how black people carry themselves. That's what she got it. She didn't get it from her mom. Right. The culture got it.
Want to keep? I would suggest that everything go with your mom, so that way you don't have property there. You might let me take that off. So go ahead and try to move to where I can try to help you get that off, because that can't go with you, and any other kind of jewelry would definitely be helpful. Okay, that's all her property. Okay, no problem. You don't need to apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. It was her. It's no reflection on you. Okay. At this point, they're adults. They make their own decisions. And this is what happens. You make a wrong decision on that line, okay? So she needs to learn, just like you said. This is her opportunity. All right, this might help. All right. All right, so you've been searched. Go ahead and enter. Let me get that real quick. Okay, you all right? Watch yourself. You didn't. You caught it. Good job. All right. There you go. Here. Would you like the seatbelt on? Here, well, you finna put it on? Yeah, let me put it on.
Now she's cool.
Here, go and lean back.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a maturity thing with her. No, I think it's a chemo imbalance. I think she's bipolar. You what? I think she's bipolar. She needs some medication.
In the end, Micaiah was charged with battery on a law enforcement officer, resisting an officer with violence, disturbing or disrupting school, possession of nicotine under 21 years of age, and possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana. She ultimately reached a plea bargain and pled no contest.
Now, why would it be less than 20 grams? What's the... So, can I have 19 grams? 18. 17. On school property. Nonetheless. Don't know, man. And this is why our education system has gone dumber and dumber. Because you don't want to piss the student off because, well, they might get you fired. I forgot where I was going with this fucking interruption. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed what's going on today. I believe my wife is home in time to get the groceries. Or she had an appointment. One of the two. I don't really know yet. I think it's an appointment. So, I'm not telling you how to think. Just telling you to think. Just go back and review a lot of the stuff we talked about today. And then I would, but I never do that. Probably because I would confuse myself. Which is possible. Alright. Have a good day. Bro. That's one. Okay. Whew, I thought the system was broken.